Are you thinking about buying or selling a home, or are a real estate professional and want to keep up with what's happening in the Twin Cities real estate news, market, and trends? Then come hang out with us for a little while. Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall, and welcome to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. I'd like to welcome back again, just like a regular co-host now, Jilly Jenkins.
Hello, thanks for having me again.
Yes, thank you for coming in.
I am basically a co-host, so.
Yeah. I think we have you on the webpage now.
Do you?
I believe so. Yeah, as like a co-host.
Good.
Give you that title. So today we're going to be diving in. I mean, so many changes in our marketplace.
It's been crazy.
I just did a market video, the mastermind video, and it's about prices versus rates versus inventory. And there are these just knobs that are moving, but it's kind of funny.
There's a lot of cogs.
Yeah. It's each one is affecting the market differently, and some of them beneficial to the marketplace as far as keeping it stable in a certain sense.
Yeah.
So
inventory.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the one, like I think I mentioned last week.
Got us.
It's the one that surprised me. I thought when rates moved, we'd start to see that inventory really rise. And it didn't go up as much. I mean, the days on market had picked up and months supply had picked up. Yeah. But definitely some interesting trends we're going to dive into there. But yeah, today's topic, we're going to really dive in deep next segment into pricing a home for this marketplace. And that's something that has changed 3 times in the last few months. Like, which way do you go about doing this? And the method that I was promoting even a month and a half ago is not the method somebody should use today.
Because, I mean, realistically, if you look back for the past, let's say 2 years, conservatively.
Well, you didn't even have to try pricing.
Right?
Stamp a price on it, market will.
Just highest bidder.
Yeah.
But realistically, we have been doing, at least I have been doing, where you look up the past comps for 6 months and then a year.
Yep.
And then you might need to, if you're looking at a year ago, look and see what the average price point increase had been. And
make the adjustments.
Make the adjustments, take that in consideration for what you're suggesting to your client. That is not the case now.
So let's get into a bit of the current market trends and kind of what's happening.
Because that's what agents are still doing right now.
Oh, yeah.
And you're seeing a lot of price drops because of it.
They're using the old method of pricing, and you have to work with the market at your hand, not the market that was.
And we do see this seasonally every year. Yeah. Agents will price it higher than they should have.
Yeah, they price it where the home sold in the spring.
Because they price it at the peak market, April, whatever. And so we see that every year, but it's been a lot this year.
So a couple of the driving factors that we're looking at. So just looking at new listings into our marketplace, we had 2 good running weeks. I mentioned it looked like we were going to have that, and that's what happened. We had 1,433 listings into the marketplace, followed by 1,451. Now it's dropped back to kind of a more expected pace for this time of year, down to 1,273. That said, and this is the one I think is very interesting. If we look back at last year, going back same time, but a couple weeks, we saw pending sales increasing. The same thing just happened this year. The difference is we've just seen interest rates in those 2 weeks move up by 0.75%. And so I was shocked to see pending sales still increasing in a market where the affordability, is dropping.
Yeah, it's dropping.
So,
do you think that could be people jumping on board before they know that the interest rates are going to get higher? Or no one knows, I guess, for anything for sure, but they have an inkling that interest rates are going to continue to get higher. That's what I'm being told by the lenders that I work with. And they're like, let's get in before it's even worse.
Yeah, I mean, I know conversations I've had this week have been a lot about, have rates peaked? And we're going to talk about rates in a second.
I'm sorry, I jumped ahead there.
I will agree to disagree with you on that. We'll get in.
You think the rates haven't peaked?
Well, I think they may have.
Really?
Yeah. I'll jump into that in a second. But so pending sales goes up, and I think it's because we're seeing those prices really coming to a spot where a buyer looks and goes, hey, I can get this house for 30, 40, 50,000 less than where things were in the springtime. And yeah, I'm going to pay $150, $200 more a month in interest, but that may just be temporary, especially if you're using
temporary, right?
Yeah, using a 2-1 buy down program or something like that, that you could put the rates in a much more affordable place for the short term.
And even if maybe you don't have the cash on hand to do that buy down, in addition to what you need for closing costs and down payment, rates aren't going to stay high like this. I don't think we're going to see. I mean, I had a client that was in the 1% range. It was almost 2%, but it was 1 point something like a year ago.
Yeah.
We're not going to see that again.
Yeah.
No, but it's not going to stay this high for the lifetime of owning that home, you know.
Well, right. And so I think the
refinance.
plan right now needs to be get yourself into the best loan that you can as a buyer that will put you in a position where you're ready to refinance in
a couple
year.
years.
Yeah, I mean, most of the professionals out there that look at rates and bond markets and all of that are expecting things to really subside into the latter half of next year. Now, I do think that, I mean, rates this last week, if you would have seen what happened like earlier in the week, it went from in the high 5s to almost 7%.
Yeah,
just
crazy.
like that. Yeah, it was, you know, and there was some talk about the Feds potentially raising rates and injected a lot of fear into the marketplace. And again, mortgage interest rates move before the Fed rate. So if we do see increases, a lot of times that's already baked in by the time, well, not a lot of times, all the time. It's baked in by the time typically that hits, unless the Fed does something that they said they weren't going to do.
That is a good point to bring up, is just from what's going on with the Feds doesn't necessarily 100% reflect what will happen with your interest rate while you're purchasing, or with how your lender decides they're going to make up rules. Because we saw that when COVID hit. Like different lender companies, different brokerages, whatever, they started free falling.
Before we get into our next segment, I know time just flies so quick. Yeah, minute 30 of this one. Yeah. So inventory. We saw inventory drop back ever so slightly from 9,045 to 9,039, but we are basically within 0.5% now of where inventory was last year. With as high as interest rates have come from last year, the change, inventory has not. And so that is what's keeping the market kind of moving along at even a faster pace than it was in 2019. And so, you know, for those thinking like, oh, it's going to be a bubble burst and bad stuff coming, the inventory is so low.
The inventory is really what's got us.
And you know, people are always going to be in a position where they need to move. Right.
Yeah.
You know, job changes, family changes, whatever it may be. And I can tell you this. I mean, I went through that market in 2008 through 2012. People always need to move. Now, not maybe everybody. Maybe some people are going to be like, I'm going to wait for rates to come down, whatever it may be. But certain people are going to be in situations where they need to.
The inventory is like what is going to keep our market more stable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not a good situation. We don't have enough people or enough houses for the people that need them.
So we got to take a commercial break.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, let's jump back to that. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Check us out at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com as well. We'll be right back. Our local sponsors are BRIX Real Estate, Network Title, Eric Bloomstrad and Chad Preby with Bell Bank Mortgage, Structure Tech Home Inspections, James Tufson with Country Financial, along with Cregan's Construction and Grey Duck Staging and Design.
Hi, I'm Ruben with Structure Tech Home Inspections. Everyone knows you should have a home inspection before you buy a home, but we've heard of home buyers being encouraged to skip the home inspection in this crazy market to make their purchase offer more attractive. Now they're facing tens of thousands of dollars in unexpected repairs. I'm telling you now, don't skip the home inspection. Here at Structure Tech, we can get your home inspected quickly, and we offer a full line of services. Visit us online at structuretech.com to learn more.
Don't fall for the billboards or the clickbait. There is no such thing as today's rate. Mortgages and mortgage rates are individual to you. Chad Preby and Eric Bloomstrand with Bell Bank Mortgage are here to show you the formula to get your best rate. Once you know this formula, you can mortgage shop with confidence. Find us online at chadpreby.com. That is chadpreby.com. NMLS 1462493, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall with BRIX Real Estate and the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest financial transactions people make. Before you make your next move, download our free Smart Home Buyer or Smart Seller guides to give you the edge in our real estate market. From deal hunting to knowing the right repairs for maximizing value, these free guides have it all. Check them out and more at BRIXTwinCities.com under publications. Welcome back to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. If you have any questions or real estate needs, feel free to reach out after the show, 651-303-0019, or you can hit us up at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. There you can see all of our past shows. And our Smart Home Buyer and Smart Seller guides are there free for anybody to download as well. Take advantage of those. Lots of great tips on kind of just getting yourself ready for that buy or sell situation. So today we're going to dive deep into pricing a home for the new market. But one of the things we kind of wrapped up with was just touching on inventory. Right? So
that's like the big cog. We said cogs earlier. No. That is hugely different, vastly different from 0809.
Yep.
Everyone has got PTSD still from 0809. Everyone. Yep. And that's what everyone's saying. Oh, next crash. Yep. What's coming up, next crash. The main difference, other than predatory lending, is inventory, right, Kirk? Like
there was 36,000 listings in the Twin Cities market when the market started to slide down in 2008.
And how many do we have
We're at
today?
9,000.
Yeah, so a vast difference.
Right. And it's a struggle just to move up or 1,000 listings or 2,000 listings in a year.
And I tell my clients this when they are concerned about a crash like 0809. We had to stop new construction. It came to a halt. Buildings were left sticks in the air to rot. It stopped.
Yeah.
We lost a huge chunk of housing that should have now been affordable housing, right? Like 12, 15 years later, that would have been maybe even a first-time home buyer option.
Right, these houses were being built
we don't have that.
in the 250, 300 range, which would have been perfect for. That's what we're missing right now. It's a lot.
There's no way for us feasibly to build ourselves out of our our inventory deficit.
Without a lot of changes.
Without huge, I would say government assistance, like federal government assistance, and we also kind of talked a little bit briefly about. Local regulations changing. And zoning and permitting is definitely causing it a huge deficit in
I was just saying that
lack of inventory
permit
for
costs
affordable
upwards
housing.
of $60,000-$75,000 for a building permit,
which is unreal.
It's insane. Okay, let's dive into this pricing of a house. So first off, what is a comp? And I think that's important to know because so many people will look at their neighbor's house and go, oh, my neighbor's home sold in 2 days. Their house is very similar to mine. And then you look it up and, there's a story and a half and the other one's a split level or a one story, right? Or, maybe built around the same time, but square footage. Well, this one is 500 square feet bigger.
Or you have like 0.11 acres and they had 2 acres,
right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of differences for comps that you need to be aware of.
So what I'm looking at is, is the house that I'm going to use as a comparable, and keep in mind, a comparable is not trying to find a home that's exactly the same as yours. You're not going to find that. What you're looking for
is like a townhouse or a condo.
You're going to compare the two. Is it better? Is it worse? Right? That's what we're looking at. So I'm looking to see, is that sale that I'm looking at crossing any major roads or railroad tracks or, lakes, some sort of like boundary, a city line, right?
Yeah.
That's a big one. School district. another.
I'm in Northeast, and Minneapolis and Columbia Heights are huge difference in pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone is in Northeast and I list their property, and an appraiser is going to pull Columbia Heights comps, that's a big difference. Different tax zone, taxation, different county even, you know?
So that making sure you're close. I always say within a few blocks. That's what I'm looking. I'm looking within a few blocks. Then what style is it? You don't want to compare a minivan to a pickup truck. So don't compare a one-story to a split level. Don't.
Yep.
They're different. They're different, right? So try to keep the style within the same size, within a few hundred square feet, plus or minus, and age as well, plus or minus, 10 years either side.
And then also age along with that. Has there been major rehabilitation for that property?
Well, that was the next thing I was going to say. Condition.
Huge updates. Right? Are the finishes dramatically different? One house is 70s shag carpet and the other one's hardwood floors.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Well, I know one I was looking at yesterday to prove a point. I'm like, okay, see where this house is priced? It's priced $50,000 higher than we're going to go. And the reason is because they have a $50,000 plus kitchen that they put in there.
Gourmet kitchens.
Right. That we're not.
And luxury bathrooms.
Exactly. So you want to make sure you're giving proper consideration to that. And if you don't do this, what happens is you price too high and you get with what Ben says, the kiss of death, which is market time. A lot of market time.
Yep.
And right now, talking about PTSD, there's a lot of buyers out there that if this house has more than 7 to 10 days of market time, they go, what's wrong with it? Even though the average market time right now is 22 plus.
Yeah.
So.
And also agents aren't setting their sellers up for that either, to know it's probably not going to sell in the weekend. You're probably not going to have an offer in 2 hours of it coming on the market like we were before.
But you want to make sure you're priced competitively enough that the showings happen. So you mentioned in the last segment how a lot I agents price, right? They look back 6 months to a year and price it to the solds, right? So one of the ways that I, in some of the meetings had talked about, was pricing it based on where those comparables listed at versus where they sold at. Because now you're adjusting a little bit for the craziness that was in the market early in the year. Did the house price at $325 and sold for $375? That was my recommendation previously, was, hey, let's look at that. And that worked through this summer.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
That, hey, if you did that.
That's something that I think has been smart to do in the peaks of a market the past several years.
So it's looking back at where those homes listed absolutely was a way to do it. But again, if you were pricing at where those homes sold in the summer, you were sitting and building the market time. Another way is pricing it to active listings. So here, we're not looking at the solds. We're looking at what comparables are active.
What is your competition in the neighborhood? I did have that recently with a listing of mine where we had a number and we decided on a number with comps involved. And then, listing popped up $10,000 less than what we were going to do. They wanted to sell it faster. That's what that's what that owner cared about. It was getting it sold fast. Yeah. And so it bumped us down. I was like, we can't compete,
Right. If you're on at the same time and they're there, you have to match, or you have to wait for them to be sold, and that may take time.
And I like to go and look at those listings with my client. If we're having a conversation about pricing and maybe we're not meeting, we're together, let's go look at those houses together and see the conditions at those other houses, and then make an honest judgment on how does it stack up to the house you want to sell. That's
a great strategy. And it's,
you can't smell pictures.
No.
I did that with a client this summer, and holy cow. Yeah. That's why that house hadn't sold. It smelled like death in there. You know what I mean? So,
the new thing that I've kind of started to implement in the last few weeks is actually looking at the showing rate that's happening and pricing a home to how many showings a house is getting. And so looking at, hey, there are these 5 houses, but these 2 aren't really getting any showings. This one's getting a fair amount, I think, is a really good way to go, hey, and a lot of times, of course, the one that gets a fair amount of showings is the one that ends up getting an offer accepted that weekend. And so I just did a market analysis last night, and I brought one which had 4 showings, which is actually pretty reasonable pace, 4 showings over the weekend. I think the average right now is like 3.14 for the Twin Cities. So this had 4, and they ended up getting an offer accepted. There was another one that had 8, and when I had printed it off, nothing had happened yet on it. Well, by the time I showed up to the house and opened it up, there it was under contract.
Yeah.
I was saying, hey, this is where this house, which is significantly newer, significantly more upgrades, and this is where they were priced. So getting to your point of really understanding those comparables, where do you think, if you were a buyer out there, you would want to see the price, and what would get you to come see your house, right?
Yep. And I mean, we're in a different market than we were earlier this year, and we're going to be in a different market in the next couple months, and we'll be in a different market a couple months from then.
Well, and it moves so fast.
You need to have an agent that's aware of the changing of market, the tides, because it is a constant flux, and you can't just pull comps from the past 6 months and say, here we are. There's a lot more to take into consideration.
Yeah. I mean, that idea is like our market moves like this all the time, and it doesn't. It ebbs and flows, right?
Like historically,
the 12
will
month,
always go
12
up,
month, yes.
But it's a roller coaster in between that, you know?
Yep. Well, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back for the last segment, I would like to dive in to just some tips that people can use for a sale that may take place in the fall or early winter. I know we were discussing some ideas before the show on that.
Get the most for your money.
Yeah. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to reach out. If you have any real estate needs, you can give us a call, 651-303-0019. Check out all of our past shows and publications at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. We'll be right back.
Not every title company is the same. There are many people involved with each real estate transaction, and all of them need to be in the loop or a closing may get delayed. This is why the people at Network Title strive to provide swift scheduling and communication between the buyers, sellers, agents, and lenders. We know moving can be stressful, however, your closing does not need to be. Check us out online at network-title.com.
My name is James Tobson with Country Financial. Anyone can sell you insurance. However, is it going to be the insurance you need? When life pops up with its surprises, you want the right coverage. When it comes time to find or renew your policy, give me a call. I would love to review your existing policy and show you what I can do for you. You can email me at james.tobson@countryfinancial.com or give me a call at 651-365-3408.
Hi, I'm Becca, owner of Grey Duck Staging. With today's home buyers beginning their journey exclusively online, the look and feel of your home matters more than ever. Whether it's a simple in-home consultation, a refresh using your current furniture, or a whole home staging, our goal is always the same: showing your home in the best light and helping you achieve the highest sales price possible. To learn more, visit us at greyduckstaging.com or check us out on Instagram at greyduckstaging.
All right, this is a little take 2 of our third segment here. Just wasn't quite ready the last time we started. All right, so talking today about pricing your home in the current market. This last segment, though, I wanted to touch on some of the things that sellers can do if they are looking at selling in the fall market.
Little tips.
And
where can we find those tips, Kirk?
Well, in the Smart Seller Guide under Publications, TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. Check it out. A lot of great tips in there. I think first and foremost, importance of staging.
Yep. I stage for my clients. If you're working with an agent that maybe doesn't offer staging, find a stager. It used to be the past couple years, you would stage to get a lot more money. It wouldn't be to sell it. It would be to get more money.
Yep.
You don't want to leave, technically, I think it's like 4 to 6-ish%
Percent,
more
yep.
that you're going to get for staging your house. So in our peak markets,
That's a
for
lot,
average price home, like that's like 20 grand that you're losing out on by not staging.
Yeah.
Now we're kind of moving into the time of year and potentially leveling off type of market where you want to stage it to get it sold quicker. You want to stage it.
Which we know achieves higher prices.
Yep. It's going to achieve higher prices, but it's going to most likely get you sold before the 22-day average.
Right.
It's going to put you ahead of your neighbors that didn't invest in that staging where they have an empty vacant home. It definitely helps
show it better.
It shows better. People, we're living in an HGTV era, and buyers expect gorgeous turnkey homes. We're not really in the mode as much
I think
as
they
we were.
expect to see gorgeous turnkey homes when they're looking online. I think they're a much more tolerable of conditional things once they're there and realize the house might work for them.
But staging also helps a buyer choose
it gets
to
people
overlook the qualities of the home that they didn't love.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. It has people picture themselves
Yep.
there as their home. Another one I want to touch on real quick is, doing a fall cleanup,
Get those gutters.
Yeah. Get the gutters.
Get those gutters.
Making sure hoses are put away and toys and whatnot, because
Take
you
out the
never
dead
know when
stuff.
the snow is going to hit, and you don't want those ornaments that aren't really ornaments out there, right?
Yeah. Cut down all the dead stuff.
And
It's that
the
time of year.
last is what I call holiday smells. The apple cider or pumpkin spice or something. Throw something on the stove and get that in the air. It just makes people feel warm, and it's a little tip that I use. But yeah, that's it. Everybody have a great week. People always ask realtors, what is your commission? But what they should be asking is, what is your rate of return? Commissions only vary by a couple of % from agent to agent. However, the price per square foot you get just based on their experience and the quality of marketing they use can vary by 10% or more. At BRIX Real Estate, our agents use the right marketing and have the experience to get you top dollar for your house. See what we can do for you at BRIXTwinCities.com.
Not every title company is the same. There are many people involved with each real estate transaction, and all of them need to be in the loop or a closing may get delayed. This is why the people at Network Title strive to provide swift scheduling and communication between the buyers, sellers, agents, and lenders. We know moving can be stressful, however, your closing does not need to be. Check us out online at network-title.com.
Don't forget to check us out online anytime at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. There you can find all of our past shows, our weekly market updates, along with the latest and greatest searching and researching tools, and our free publications, to include the Smart Home Buyer Guide and the Smart Seller Guide, along with the BRIX Report. All of these free for you. If you have any real estate questions, please feel free to give us a call, 651-303-0019. Again, 651-303-0019. Happy to help answer any of your real estate questions or assist with your real estate needs.